in the next Argentinian stage that we are going to see. And what is that stage, I hear you asking yourselves? Well, we are heading to Parque Temático. It's a tough little stage. It's regularly used on the championship calendar. So for everyone who's watched Rally Argentina around the world, you will know this stage very well. But how well do our drivers know it? Well, we'll find out very shortly. But first, let's have a quick look and see what happened in the quarterfinals. This one's going to shape up.
You've got to keep it tight.
It is like a pinball for Formo right now.
Almost. Almost from Reese there, but just keeps it under control.
He goes through to the semi-finals. Those bridges are so narrow, so rickety.
Not much of a gap. You know, if he puts a foot wrong, Roland's going to be right there to pounce.
Great time on the board then for Raul Badu. It's Solberg against Lube. This one is going to be fascinating. And is he going to seal the deal here against Solberg, the teenage sensation? Oh, Lube! What has happened with Pierre-Louis here? Oliver Solberg then takes that win.
So we've swapped for the lead quite a few times already now.
They are neck and neck. Oh, it's a mistake from Ollie Christian. Congratulations to Marquito. Joining me then in co-coms for this one is Seb Scott. Seb, welcome along to the semi-final. We saw a thrilling quarter-final. I think this is going to be just as good. What about you?
I'm excited. I'm slightly nervous, actually, because it's tense now. And something I noticed, I watched qualifying back this morning, and I also watched the quarters. You know, our top four from qualifying have made it through to the semi-final, Bex.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible, isn't it? You know, if you remember back to qualifying, and were we a bit surprised to see Oliver Solberg at the top of the tree? Maybe not, but I was surprised to see Reese Yates second fastest in qualifying, considering he put the L plate on the back of his rig to start with. I thought, well, maybe, he doesn't use WRC 8 so much, maybe he's not going to be absolutely on the money, and he was.
Yeah, I think that was, in boxing terms, a bit of a ropey dope there. I think he was maybe trying to put some of his competitors off, ease them, lull them into a false sense of security, and he definitely convinced us until we actually saw him against Formo, and, Formo had a very big fight on his hands there.
Yeah, no, he absolutely did. Well, it was brilliant to watch the quarterfinals and to see who has now graduated through to the semi-finals. But also, if you're watching this and thinking, I want to get in on the action here, I want some esports in my life, well, you can be part of the action. Tell us a bit more about what's happening this weekend, Seb.
So, Rally Argentina is supposed to be this weekend, but due to COVID-19, that's not happening. We're bringing you some real-life drivers, but eSports WRC, the championship, is carrying on throughout this year. That's not been affected because everybody is racing from home. So this weekend, if you've got WRC 8, be sure to log on Friday and you will see on the menu eSports WRC. Get practicing El Condor and Cantera. They are the two stages. Set your fastest time on there. See how you mix against some of the likes of John O and Noel and Nexo. They're some of our absolute top esports drivers. And if you can match their pace, you could be coming along to the championship finale later this year.
Ooh, exciting stuff. We love the championship finale of esports. It's always a great one to be part of wherever we are around the world on the championship. Okay, let's get our teeth sunk into what is going to be then the semi-final. Let's take a look at our pairings and who's competing against each other. Seb, talk us through it.
So we have got in the first semi-final Reese Yates paired against Raul Badu. Now this is a big one. It's Reese who's surprised us all by beating Formo, and Raul, the junior winner. So they've both proved that they've got very good speed. I'm really looking forward to it. And then afterwards, we've got Solberg against Balatia. Two very young, promising talents, but also they've proved to be quite the dab hand behind the esports wheel.
Semi-final run number one then. It's Yates against Badu.
Now a flat out stage, no rocks, no tough road. Smooth, perfect. We just have to go for it and see who's the fastest. So, good luck, Reese.
Nice little good luck message there from Badu. And he's right, because it is completely different. It's contrasting from what we've seen before. with the stages that they've tackled in Argentina. Rough and rocky. This is smooth in comparison. Lots of fast and slow corners in this one. There is a water splash thrown in as well. They still have to be exactly the same as they normally are. Very quick and neat and precise. But I think this is going to suit Raul, but also you need aggression, you need grunt here, and that I think is going to go in favour of Yates. It's going to be a tough one to call. It's already looking pretty even, Seb.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to be in control of the car on this one, because as you can see at the edges of both stages, there's some bankings, and if you slightly tag one of them with too much force, you're going to lose a lot of time. But also we've got big crests and jumps as we fly over. This is a great stage to test almost every ability of a rally driver, Bex.
No, it absolutely is. And when we see it in action on the WRC, it's normally 2 at a time we see making their way around this one. It has caused some upset over the years, and it is, I think, a nice contrast from the rough and rocky tests, because the drivers can really push in here without too much worry of doing too much damage to the car, obviously keeping it on the road at the same time. A little mistake there from Raul.
Yeah, this is where I think, as we've already mentioned, making mistakes here will cost you big, because there's no rocks and no rock faces. It's pure speed, pure car control.
It is.
And it's a lot wider compared to the rest of the Argentinian stages, like on El Condor yesterday. Water splash there for Reese, nicely handled, similarly for Raul.
But as you can see from that water splash, it is Yates who has the advantage here. It's been interesting to chart Reese within the WRC. He did a good handful of events last year. I think 7 WRC events we saw him at. Last year he was in Monty and Sweden. This year,
yeah, and this year he's stepped up to the WRC 2 with M Sport, partnering Adrian Formol, who's also, proved he's something special. And Raul still in junior WRC, but had a really good finish in Sweden. Got his 2 first stage. Oh, Reese. They're quite close now, Bex. Raul seems to be catching
Yeah,
up on
they're
Reese.
looking quite close. Reese just made a little bit of a mistake. They're just a little bit too wide. Raul did exactly the same thing, but on the other side of the road.
Yeah, and we're in a virtual environment here, and something we might be interested to know about Raul. He's actually becoming a bit of an eSports athlete. He's considering entering this week's eSports championship on WRC 8. He's competed in a national Romanian event since his junior WRC success.
Well, the thing is, this is the only way at the moment that you can compete. We're seeing so many more drivers taking up the mantle of eSports now. Keep themselves fresh, keep themselves sharp behind the wheel, and plus, at the end of the day, it's good fun as well, so you really can't knock it. Yates has quite a big advantage here now. It is his to lose at the moment. He is looking at a place in the final.
Yeah, I'm surprised, Bex, from Raul's dominance in the junior edition. I'm surprised he's so far off the pace. Reese is really handing it to Raul.
Yeah, he is. I mean, we saw from Raul in the junior competition, it was his smooth style that really took him through and limited mistakes. Whereas here now, it's the reliance on the pace and the commitment into corners from Yates.
Yeah, definitely. Reese, he seems confident with his wheel action. Raul still got some nervous adjustments. Oh, bit of a squiggle there. Oh, snaking through the water splash, I should say. Raul nicely through. They are, even in the game, it's like real life with the water splash. You have to be really careful.
Squiggle, I'm going to remember that one.
Thanks, Bex.
Again then, Yates through that water splash. You can see the difference in time between them now, with Raul just going through.
Yeah, just a bit of a nasty landing there from Raul. I think Raul really is almost overdriving now, pushing too hard and losing more time than he's trying to gain.
And finish. Yeah, I had a really good run and precise one, but I had a few mistakes that cost me like 2 or 3 seconds. Yeah, and it seems that Reese was faster than me, so congratulations for him.
Yes, it is Reese Yates then who heads through to the eSports WRC Shootout final. So congratulations to Yates. Let's take a little look back at some of the action from the runs then. It was in certain sections for the drivers, they were a little bit wide. And as Raul said, that's where he's lost precious seconds.
Absolutely, it's just a little rough around the edges is the best way to describe it, isn't it?
Well, they're going flat out, and this is a stage you absolutely can go flat out on. We talked about the little worry of the huge rocks that were lining the El Condor stage previously. Now it's time to head into semi-final run number 2, Solberg and Balasia.
Now it's time to do the Parque Temático. It's a very, very nice stage. I like a lot, but very difficult because of the water splash. We will see. I'm very happy to be on the semi-finals, and we will try our best.
Yeah, you can understand why he's happy to be on the semi-finals. We've had a great array of drivers, a great calibre of drivers. Straight away there, Solberg was just a little bit wide, you could see from the start.
Yeah, definitely. And this is the stage, as we've mentioned, you don't want to be making mistakes because it's so hard to make time up on.
Yeah, it really is. And they are being punished for the smallest of mistakes. And the mistakes we're seeing so far are just the drivers, heading in just a little wide in sections, a little bit too quick into some corners, up onto banking in some areas. It's just little basic mistakes that are costing precious seconds in this semi-final.
Yeah, and the guys have had time to learn this stage, but it's so difficult to keep track of, Bex, because you think you've got one corner coming up and then it's a massive jump that they've just flown over. But Balasia really does seem to have nailed this stage in terms of knowing what to expect.
Well, Balasia knows what to expect on this stage in real life as well. He's competed twice in Argentina previously. Both times, though, accidents, and his first time in Argentina, I'm sure you'll all remember, if you're following WRC religiously, a massive accident for Balasia. Over a jump, car looking massively second-hand over it. It seemed to be in bits. He was okay, co-driver was okay, but Argentina has not been kind to Marquito. Will it be, though, in the eSports world? It's not looking bad for him here, to be honest.
Not bad, but don't forget, we've got Oliver Solberg on the left of your screen here, and we all know what a talent Oliver is, and we've all seen on his social media just how much he's dedicating all this spare time to eSports, even getting Petter involved. Absolutely great to see, and he's really enforcing the message of race at home.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's the key right at the moment, isn't it? Race at home is all we can do, and the guys are certainly enjoying it out there. Oliver Solberg then is just slightly behind Marquito here. It was that little mistake right at the start of the stage for him, and it was hardly anything really.
No, it wasn't. But that, as we've said, this stage, you've almost got to drive it like a circuit, Bex. Get the line right and practice, and you've got to be perfect. It's not like I'll make time further up the road. You're coming back to the same point later on, and it's almost flat out.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely flat out for them. This is a great practice stage to do, and one where you can really up your time on. What's your best time in here, Seb?
Yes. I don't want to talk about my eSports talents. Talent shouldn't really be used.
Now let's leave it to the professionals, shall we?
Exactly.
Marquito is looking really hot on this stage, I have to say. It's impressive from him so far here.
Definitely, and it's worth mentioning the times that the guys set yesterday on El Condor. Bear in mind, in our 5 cars, compared to our eSports athletes that are practicing for this eSports Championship this weekend, they weren't far off, Beck. So, Vaby, he's considering it. Badiou's also considering it. I really want to see some of these drivers with all this spare time. Come on, let's have an eSports virtual head-to-head of real versus virtual. What do you think, Bex?
Yeah, I'm totally up for that, Seb. I think it's a cracking idea, and I'm sure everyone else who is watching is as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Marquito has pretty much got this in hand here, I would think, unless now he makes a monumental mistake in this closing sector of stage. He has this one in the bag. It is looking very strong for him. Full commitment, a lot of pace. You can tell he's been practicing a lot on this stage.
Definitely. He's just been supreme. And Oliver, to be fair, has been absolutely incredible. I can't think of a major moment he's had. It's just, you've really got to tick every box, dot every I, cross every T here.
Yeah, I mean, Oliver kicked it all off brilliantly for us in our qualifying session, setting the fastest time in qualifying just a few days ago. And now, of course, we're up to the semi-finals.
Yeah, fastest in qualifying doesn't mean you can win the competition. And I think it's Oliver knocked out, Bex.
It is. Sadly, Solberg will be going home. It is Marquito who will go through.
I have finished. It was a very good time for me. A clean stage. I was very lucky on the water splashes.
Well, he'll say lucky, but it's all about skill out there, isn't it? Marco Balasia then is our winner of the second run through, and we'll head into the final as we have a look back at the replay. What an incredible time through the stage for him.
I mean, incredible times for both, really. I couldn't imagine driving at that pace, and credit to both the guys who've had an absolutely brilliant semi-final. Also with Reese and Barrier, just looking at some of the supreme moments and just a commanding drive by Balasia there. And so now we have our final. It's Reese Yates against Marquito Balasia, Bex.
It certainly is. It's going to be an absolute thriller. We can guarantee that from Yates' performance today and Balasia's performance, it is going to be neck and neck. Make sure you don't miss. Our eSports WRC Shootout final is coming your way very soon.